How's it going, everyone? It's Johnny Beard here with a quite an unusual video, actually. I don't tend to do these videos, mainly because I'm a Twitch streamer, but also because I'm normally quite an upbeat, positive person who tries not to be negative about things, but I've got a little bit of ranting to do about Final Fantasy VII Remake Reunion. Now, before I go any further, I would just like to say, as I said just before, I'm normally quite a positive person. I support Square Enix and the Final Fantasy series. I'm a huge fan. And also, I would like to say, if you are excited for the new Final Fantasy VII Reunion and you don't want to hear negativity, you're in the wrong place. I encourage you, if you absolutely are ecstatic and excited to play Final Fantasy VII Reunion next year, please don't let me stop you. I'm not here to say don't buy the game. I'm not here to do anything like that. I just want to offer some observations and some concerns about the direction, shall we say, that the game is going in. So if you're not happy, if you don't want to hear it, please just move on with your life. Or of course, offer some constructive comments in below if you want to. I'm more than happy to have discussions with anyone about this. There's some people who are like, this person's being negative, I just want to be horrible to them. No, we can have a conversation about things. We're allowed to disagree, and we can have a conversation. But if you don't want to hear any negativity, you're in the wrong video. Sorry. Final Fantasy VII Remake Reunion. It's coming out winter 2023, so in about 15 to 18 months' time, you'd suspect, based on the timing of the trailer yesterday. And I was just quite surprised, really, to see how many people are excited and ecstatic to see the content in the trailer that we saw yesterday. So as I said, if that's you and you don't want to have any negativity, then all power to you, and maybe, as I said, maybe looking at a different video. But okay, let's rewind slightly. So 2020 pandemic, Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1 came out, and it was universally acclaimed, right? Everyone was loving the game, everyone loved the battle system, the graphics looked amazing, the music was just chef's kiss, right? Everyone was really happy with Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1. 90% of it, that is. I'm in that 90% bracket, right? So when I say 90% of Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1 people were happy with, we're talking about the base game and the direction that they took from the original source material into the remake, right? And people were really happy about that and what they did with it. They had the assets of the game characters, they had the assets of the music, they had the battle system, the material in it, you know, the plot, what they added to the plot, what they took out. Most people weren't critical, really. About 90% of the game. The 10% of what people were really upset with, and it drew a lot of controversy, a lot of different conflicting opinions, was the 10% being the ending, shall we say. So the ending of Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1, basically spoilers, basically told us that there was an alternative reality, breaking the fourth wall scenario where like the shadows and the were taking over, and we had to fight fate, basically. So and there was the, I can't remember what they're called now. I think they're called the Shadow Harbingers or something like that. They were called something like that, and they looked very aesthetically like Kingdom Hearts character models, and basically the main characters in Final Fantasy VII defeated those monsters and took control of destiny, and there was a load of flashing images of things that happened in the original base game. Stuff like does Aerith die? Does Zack come back to life? Does Cloud and Sephiroth have to fight this fight consistently? And it looked like there was loads of examples where they probably have had this fight in lots of different realities, including one, I think, in like space or something like that. And basically there was all this stuff going on, and it turns out that the characters were like, no, we can fight fate, we can control our own destiny, and we're gonna fight through this. And the Midgar section of the game came to an end, and there was this moment where Cloud and Zack, who was in the base game, had passed away, were still walking into Midgar, where the base game, or Crisis Core game as well, where Zack actually passes away, gets killed, didn't happen. So Zack's still alive, basically. Biggs, Wedge and Jesse Are they dead? You know, stuff like that. Even though we saw Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse die in the base game, and we assumed that Biggs and Jesse, I think, if I'm not mistaken, died in the remake, and I think it was only Wedge that survived. That was a bit of a question mark in itself, but no one cared too much because the remake was so good. Basically, signs that Biggs and Jesse are still alive as well. So fate was kind of like, we can change fate, we can actually, you know, change our realities and stuff like that. That was kind of like the 10% of the Final Fantasy VII Remake that people weren't too happy with, or that had conflicting opinions. There were people who were like, okay, they're changing this plot, or the opening discussion to change the plot, let's see where it goes, I've got an open mind about this, we'll see what happens. And then there were people who were like, what the hell are they doing? They're changing the actual core game, why? And I'm sorry to say that upsets you, but I was in that category of people who were questioning why they were changing the core game, basically the plot of the game. And the trailer we've just seen yesterday basically has confirmed that fate is in the characters' hands and that they can change basically stuff that happened in the base game. And why do they have to live a reality that they're not happy with? They're kind of becoming self-aware almost. It sounds crazy, right? So Aerith is saying, why do I have to die almost? And Zack might be thinking, why do I have to die? And Sephiroth might be thinking, you know, maybe I've got questionable decisions and stuff like that. And that's what the trailer kind of insinuating, at least it said to me, when we saw very strange images such as Cloud and Sephiroth walking in the field together, and you're like, hang on a minute, these guys are like mortal enemies here. They hate each other. Have you not seen Final Fantasy VII Advent Children? You know, these guys can't stand each other, you know, and they're walking together, almost, you know, going on a journey together. It's a bit weird. We had Zack and Cloud again. So is there two Clouds now? You know, is there a Cloud with Zack and is there a Cloud with Sephiroth? You know, is there two Clouds now? Do they meet? What's going on? You know, so they're basically, you know, Square Enix and the Final Fantasy VII remake project seem to be pretty adamant that they're going in this direction, right? And people seem to forget what made Final Fantasy VII so iconic. You know, Aerith dying back in 1997. This was at a time where you didn't see main characters getting killed off in games like that. That didn't really happen. Not to the extent that the iconicness of the scene was. It almost feels like Square Enix are afraid to pull that trigger. They don't want to do that. They don't want to kill off Aerith. It's almost like you got to think about it in a certain way. Like, if Aerith didn't die in Final Fantasy VII 1997, would the game be as big as it was today? And I'd make a very strong case to say that the answer is no. I'm not saying that if Aerith stayed alive, the game wouldn't be successful. I'm not saying that for a second. The game has got lots of great qualities and some fantastic storyline elements. But that moment, if you think Final Fantasy VII as a fan of 25 plus years, people think about that. It's like probably one, if you were to ask people to think of three things about Final Fantasy VII 1997, that's probably one of the things that they'd mention. I'm just throwing it out there. And that shows you how much power that scene had. And if you're not going to give the fans that moment of tragedy, you're robbing them of that, in my opinion. And I know this is all speculation as well, right? So a lot of people might reply in the comments saying, "Well, you don't know what's going on. You don't know. They might do these things." It's like, yeah, you're right. They might do those things, but based on the trailer, it's not likely they're going to. And all of a sudden, Cloud and Sephiroth are, I wouldn't say the buddies as such, but I mean, it seems to be that they are walking a path of dialogue and discussion, and the setting, the scene, the tone doesn't feel like they are enemies. They are questioning life and choices and fate and stuff, you know. And it's like, why would they do that? You know, I mean, who's the main villain here in this game, right? That's what you need to think about. The main villain of Final Fantasy VII OG was Sephiroth and Jenova and Hojo, right? Is Sephiroth not the main villain anymore? Is he having a a character arc where he's like, maybe I don't need to be a bad guy after all. And it's like, well, what? You know, so is Jenova still the bad guy? A bad person? Bad thing? I don't know what to call it. Antagonist? Is Hojo still evil? Is Shinra now going to play a bigger part to play in terms of filling a gap that Sephiroth maybe dropped out of? Can you play as Sephiroth? Is he going to be joining the cast? Where does Zack fall into this? You know? So, Zack's death, you know, had a part to play in the story arcs of Cloud, Tifa, and Aerith, right? He was a very important character behind the scenes of the OG game, since you don't actually see him apart from in flashbacks and stuff, right? If Zack saves Cloud, what happens to Cloud becoming a mercenary? What happens to Cloud taking on Zack's memories and stuff like that, and living Zack's life in his memory and in his honor? That huge, massive personality development goes straight away. I just don't understand why they are playing about and toying with massive parts of the plot of the game, you know. And the other thing as well to think about is that this is going to be a 3-part Final Fantasy VII Remake project. They've confirmed now that this project is 3 games. So we've already had part 1, part 2 is coming out late next year, and then there'll be a part 3, which is the finale part, sometime in the future. I'd suspect probably 2026 or something like that, right? So when you've got the base game of Final Fantasy VII from 1997, and we've basically conquered Midgar in that timeline of 2020 from the remake, and there's so much content that we have not yet seen. We have not seen the flashbacks of Nibelheim. We've not seen Calm. Not seen the Midgazolem. We've not seen Junon. We've not seen Costa del Sol, Coral. I'm gonna list them for you. I'm gonna list them. We've not gone to Cosmo Canyon. We've not gone to Gongaga. We've not gone to Nibelheim. We've not gone to Rocket Town. We've not gone to Butai. We've not gone to the Gold Saucer. We've not gone to the Temple and the Ancients. We've not gone to the Forgotten Capital. We've not gone to Icicle Inn. We've not gone up the Northern Glacier. We've not gone to the Northern Crater. We've not gone to any of these places, and that's just a list of stuff we have not yet seen. Okay? And Midgar was stretched and pulled and increased in volume so much. Basically, you can play the Midgar section of Final Fantasy VII OG in about 5 to 7 hours. You can probably play it in even less if you're a speedrunner, of course. That was stretched and pulled into basically a 50-hour-ish experience, 40 to 50-hour experience, right? So they've stretched and pulled all that and made that one game. And now they're saying that the rest of the stuff that I've literally just listed just now is going to be in 2 games. It's not happening. It just won't happen. And it's an absolute crying shame. I'm not saying for a second I want Final Fantasy VII Remake to be an 8-part game. I'm not even saying that for a second. But there's going to be so much content from this game. It's unreal. And not only that, but it seems like they're not even going. It seems like they almost put themselves into a corner and went, oh crud, the Final Fantasy VII Remake project that we announced 7 years ago now, it's just too big. It's just too big. We're not going to be able to deliver what fans want. And if they thought that for a second, then why did they stretch Midgard the way they did? It makes no sense to me whatsoever that they chose to make that decision. And it feels like that they've got themselves into a corner now where they made Midgard bigger and brighter and full of flavor as they did, and they realized that they were putting themselves into a corner. And I feel like they've almost taken the cheap option of, well, tell you what we'll do, we're going to strip the whole game out and we're going to basically do a reimagination of the game. We're going to have the characters choose their own fates. We're going to have the characters choose their own ways of living. So Sephiroth might be a good guy after all. Aerith might not die. Zack might not die. Aerith can question that she's got some powers where she can actually start to question, well, why do we need to take that path? We can take a different path, and all this stuff. And that is basically almost, dare I say, it looks like it's replacing key plot from the original game. It's almost as if it's basically this is a whole new game in itself. It's not Final Fantasy VII. It's not. It's a reimagination, obviously, of it, or almost a sequel in an alternative universe to the original game. And I just don't understand what happened for them to make that decision. 7 years ago, they announced this project, and 7 years ago, when this project was announced, I would put money on at least 90% of the Final Fantasy VII fan base weren't asking for this. They weren't. Fans weren't asking for this experience. Fans wanted a remake. Fans wanted to have what was so special about that game from 1997, but done in 4K graphics, a complete overhaul of and a modernization of the base game from 1997. That's what fans wanted, and that's not what fans are getting. Fans, I feel like fans are being cheated from that experience, and they're instead getting an alternative reality sequel, probably be even close to the complexity of the original game. You know, and the other thing I got to ask is, what's the end goal here? What's the end goal? What in the end, when you look at Final Fantasy VII 1997 OG, there's the Shinra crisis, that they're sucking the life's energy from the planet into, and it's bad for the planet, and they're using that to corrupt people, and they're trying to find this fantasy world where they can get as much energy as they want and just trample over the general population, and for the purpose of wanting complete inness of power, right? And then on top of that, you've got a world crisis where you've got an insane super soldier who is going to try and destroy the world using a meteor to crash into the planet, and then he's going to absorb all that energy that's going to come from that crisis moment into becoming basically a demigod, right? So you got this whole massive plot going on in the original game. That's the goal of Final Fantasy VII, right? Cloud's obviously tried to defeat his arch nemesis and tried to redeem himself in ways that he seems to have been failures of his past, stuff like that, right? What's the ultimate end goal for Final Fantasy VII Remake? What is the ultimate end goal here? Is it that everyone can go around the campfire singing Kumbaya together? I don't get it. Is everyone going to live happily ever after? Is Sephiroth and Cloud going to join forces and be buddies, right? With his mate Zack on the side and Aerith. Again, that triangle in itself, that's going to be a weird one, isn't it? Cloud and Zack both like Aerith, you know. What's going on there? You know, it makes no sense. You know, and then you got Tifa on the side as well. So you know, it's just, I don't understand what the end goal is going to be here. I was just genuinely surprised by the lack of concern yesterday. And I said, I'm not trying to be a party pooper. I'm not going to be here to say don't buy the game. If you are excited for it, go for it. Fill your boots, buy the game, support Square Enix. They're a fantastic company. I love them. I love the Final Fantasy series. So I'm not in for one second saying don't buy the game. What I am, however, saying is I don't know if I'm going to buy the game. Not certainly on release. I don't know if I can support this project. I have a lot of concerns over what they're trying to do. And I know I'm not the only fan out there that thinks this, as I've had lots of conversations with a lot of different fans about it. And I don't understand what the purpose of this game is, you know, other than, dare I say, to make money. Sorry, and I'm not saying for 1 second that Square Enix just care about money. I'm not saying that, but it feels like with this project, it feels like they're just seeing dollar signs and they're using the game, the characters, the assets of the game to make a new game experience that isn't what fans asked for 7 years ago. I don't think it's an exciting project anymore. You know, I wanted a Final Fantasy VII remake. I don't meant an actual remake. I know I'm not the only fan who felt like that 7 years ago, 2 years ago, and now. I think they are putting themselves into a corner where they're going to be upsetting a lot of fans of the original game because they're not getting the remake they asked for. Will this game be good? I don't know. Do I want it to be good? Yes, of course. I don't want this game to be a failure. I don't want it to be a financial failure. I don't want it to be a failure in any way, shape, or form. But equally, I don't think it's probably going to be the success that they want it to be. I feel like they're choosing controversy over great quality content, almost, it feels. Because the base game was so good, and they've demonstrated with Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1 for 90% of the game that they could have delivered the game that fans wanted, but chose to concentrate on that 10% of the, well, you can change the plot of the game and the characters can live the lives that they want to have, over giving the fans what they asked for 7 years ago. So if the game doesn't become the success that we all want it to be, who's to blame here? Is it going to be fans like me for not supporting the project? Is it going to be our fault that this game is not going to be a success? Is it going to be, or are they going to take responsibility for their very questionable decisions to not deliver the game that fans asked for 7 years ago? You know, that's kind of where I'm at, I think, really, with this. Kids just come home, so anyway, gonna wrap up now. If you enjoyed this video or didn't enjoy this video, please like, comment, subscribe, dislike if you want to as well, whatever you feel is appropriate. But you know, I'm not normally a negative person. I'm not normally someone that tries to like be hugely critical about companies or Square Enix in particular. I love this series, as I said. I love Final Fantasy VII. It's my passion and my love for this game that makes me make this video, because I'm so gutted that they're not going in a direction that I feel like a lot of loyal fans wanted them to go in. So please agree, disagree, comment below, and also on the side, what do you think of this video? Let me know what you think of me doing this style of video. I've not really done it before, or very rarely, so do you want to see me do more opinion pieces like this on YouTube? Please let me know. I'm very rough at doing it, so but if it's something that you guys want to see me do, I'm more than happy to do it. Anyway, check me out on Twitch, give us a subscribe if you like what I've said, or yeah, stay cool, stay classy, and take care. Much love. Bye.